Welcome everyone, welcome back to the Detail Formula. Today we're going to show you the best way to wash your car without introducing any more scratches or any other imperfections into your paint. I'll be going over the best techniques, the best products you can use to make sure you get the perfect result every time. First up, when washing your car, we don't want to do it in direct sunlight. So if you're washing your car outside, do it in the morning or in the evening in the shade, basically so you can out of the heat of the sun. We don't want anything that we put on the car to dry, whether it's just water, leaving water spots, or soap. We don't want it to dry. So doing it either in the morning where it's nice and cool, or in the evening where you can be in the shade is the best time to do it. Right now, it's actually been raining most of the day, but we've got a break in the weather. Car's dirty, so great time to get stuck in and show you our process. Now, before we rinse the car, if you're planning to wash your wheels, you want to wash the wheels first. Washing your wheels generally takes quite a lot of time, so if you've already rinsed the car, that water is going to dry on the surface of the car, leaving watermarks. So we want to avoid those. So if you're going to wash your wheels, take a look at the link down in the description below for our wheel washing videos, but wash your wheels first. Now that our wheels are washed, our first step is to rinse the car. When rinsing, you want to start at the top of the car and work your way down. We do this as if we started from the bottom. Once we got to the top of the car, we'll be rinsing the dirt from the top of the car down onto the area that we already rinsed. Now if your car is dirty, don't be afraid to take your time. Any dirt you remove now will make you less likely to scratch your paint in the contact phase of the wash. Take this time to rinse out your door jambs, boots, etc., getting as much dirt off as we can. Now when you're rinsing your car, if you can, it's preferable to use a pressure washer. A pressure washer is going to have a little bit more pressure, so it'll allow you to take more dirt off. It's going to be easy to control and just does a bit better job than a garden hose. The ideal PSI for a pressure washer, if you're going to use it on your car, is between 1200 and 1500 PSI. Also, the higher flow you can get, the better off you'll be. Using a pressure washer also allows you to connect a foam cannon, which is vital in the next step of the wash process. Okay, now that we've rinsed off the car, we've got as much dirt and grime and debris as we can off the paint. Now it's time to foam the car down. Now this is an extremely important step if we're going to help reduce the amount of scratches and imperfections that we're going to put on the paint. Having that layer of foam increases the lubrication that we use when we come to our contact wash, therefore helps us glide over the paint easier, not going to create as many scratches. Now, soaps. Over the years, I've used many soaps, all with varying levels of success. I came across Koch Chemie GSF about 6 months ago, and God, it's good. It's a pH neutral soap, therefore isn't going to harm any of your waxes, any of your sealants or any ceramic coatings you have on the paint. It's going to leave those alone. One of the major advantages that I find with GSF is that once rinsed off, it leaves nothing behind. So there's nothing worse than rinsing down your car and you can feel the paint. You can still feel soap there. Doesn't happen with this. I pair the GSF with the MTM PF22 foam cannon. This cannon produces awesome foam, thick shaving cream like foam. It's a high quality cannon and has lasted me a long time. So whilst a little bit costly up front, it'll last a long time and you'll never have any complaints. Now typically I put in about just over 50 mils of GSF into my foam cannon. What I like about the MTM foam cannon is that it has measurements on the side of the bottle. This makes it really easy to measure out, roughly 50 mils of soap. Once you've added the soap, fill the rest up with water till around the 3/4 full mark. This will give you plenty of foam for the entire car, plus a little extra. If you want extra thick foam, you can use warm water, but I find that cold water works just fine. So you can see in the video I've added 50 mils of soap, plus around 3/4 full mark now of water. Now the cannon is set up, it's time to foam down the car. This step allows the soap to sit on the car for a period of time, breaking down all that dirt and pulling it out of the paint. There's different opinions on whether or not thick or runny foam is the best. Personally, I like thick foam as it hangs on the paint for a long time, giving it more time to break down that dirt and slowly pull it off the paint as the foam drips off the car. As you can see, the Koch Chemie GSF does an awesome job of creating really thick shaving cream like foam that will slowly drip off the car. Leave the foam sitting on the car for roughly 3 to 5 minutes to let it do its job, breaking down all that dirt. As you can see on the close-up here, that foam is just awesome. Real thick, hanging on that paint for a good amount of time, letting it break down as much grime as possible before it slowly drips off the car over the next 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, now that we've foamed down the car, the foam's sitting there slowly encapsulating that dirt, bringing it down off the car, it's time for our contact wash. Now this is the most important step that if you do right, you'll reduce the amount of scratches and marring that you put into your paint. To do so, we use the 2-bucket method. So you basically have 2 buckets, 1 bucket full of water, that'll become your rinse bucket, and then 1 for your soap. We also use grip guards in both of the buckets, so these sit in the bottom of each bucket, and what they do, they trap the dirt that's coming from your wash mitt. Once you've rinsed it out, they trap that dirt in the bottom of the bucket, so when you go in again with your mitt, all that old dirt that you've washed off previously is going to be stuck in the bottom of the bucket and you won't be able to lift it back onto the paint. So therefore, obviously reducing the amount of dirt that goes back on your paint and reducing scratches. Okay, now for our wash bucket. After foaming down the car, we have a good sort of 300 mils left in the bottle. So rather than keep it in the foam cannon, we're going to dump this into our wash bucket, and that's going to be the soap we use, the soapy water, to fill it up. So instead of wasting it, all that soap now goes in the bucket. We're going to fill the rest up with water, and then you'll have our rinse bucket full of water and now a wash bucket full of soapy water. Finally, the last item we need for our 2-bucket wash method is our wash pad. Now, always go for a microfiber wash pad. What microfiber does, it clings onto the dirt, pulls it off the paint, and makes sure that when you're swiping again, they're not on the surface of the pad and scratching it. So the microfiber is going to hold on, and then when you rinse your pad off in your rinse bucket and then put it in your soap bucket, it's going to get rid of all those dirt particles into the bucket, off the pad, and then you're going to be good to go again. So what I also like about this wash pad is the size of it. It's nice and small, fits in the palm of your hand. It's got a great sponge in it that holds enough water and enough soap, so you're always going to have that lubrication when you're on the car. But yeah, always a microfiber wash mitt. Going to make sure you do the best job. Okay, now we have both buckets set up. It's time for the contact wash. Again, you're going to want to start from the very top of the car and work your way down. I start with the roof, then tackle the glass. I'll do a small area, then flip my pad over to its fresh side, do another area. Then we go to our rinse bucket, rinse out the pad, and then back into our soap bucket to reapply the soap. Once you've completed the roof, windows and bonnets, you want to work around the sides of the car about 3/4 of the way down. We want to leave the bumpers and side skirts and anything on the bottom of the car till last, because those will be the areas that will be the dirtiest. Leaving them till last will mean that we don't bring that dirt further up the car and create more scratches and imperfections. You can see I'm doing one small area, flipping my pad over, then once I've used both sides, revisiting my rinse bucket, then into my wash bucket, and repeating that process until we're finished. Now we've gone around the entire car about 3/4 of the way down. We can tackle the side skirts, bumpers, and now's a good time to get the inners of the door jambs as well. Now by using the best soaps, the best wash mitt, the best techniques, we've minimised and drastically reduced the amount of marring, scratches and imperfections. We can be confident to say that we've done the best job possible to look after our car. Now it's time to rinse all the soap off. So using our pressure washer, we're going to rinse down the entire car. This is one of the reasons why I love GSF. You'll notice when rinsing it off, it rinses off super clean. It leaves no soap behind and it's really easy to rinse off. Some soaps that are designed to foam and foam cannons tend to re-agitate really easily. You can rinse it and no matter how much you rinse a certain area, if there's soap stuck in it, it's going to keep bubbling and there's always going to be soap there. Again, GSF won't do this and it'll rinse off perfectly every single time. Okay, now the car's clean, but it's still wet. I mean, we could leave the car now, seems to think it's all clean, but that water left on the paint to dry by itself is going to leave mineral deposits and water spots on the car. So we're going to need to dry it. The drying process is another time where you're actually touching the paint, so it's another opportunity to add scratches and imperfections. Water by itself is actually a terrible lubricator. So if you're adding just a towel onto that paint, your chances are you're going to scratch it pretty well. So we're going to use what in the industry is called a drying aid. Typically a drying aid is a quick detail spray, which is just going to add lubrication to the panel and help you dry it off without adding any more marring or scratchings. For drying aid for us, we use P&S Beadmaker. This product here has become my go-to as it adds the necessary lubrication to your paint, but it also provides an unbelievable gloss and slickness. It just looks awesome once you're finished. Okay, with our bead maker, we're going to spray down the car. Now if you're washing your car early in the morning or late in the evening where the panels aren't warm and the product's not going to dry off, there's no problem spraying down the entire car. If it's unavoidable that you have to wash the car when it's warm and the product's going to dry, there's no problem just doing it by panel by panel. But today, seeing as it's evening, it's nice and cool, it's not going to dry off, I can spray down the full car. All we're doing is adding about 2 sprays per panel. We're not applying it too heavy, we just want to have that lubrication there for when we introduce our drying towel to the car. And finally, drying towels. Seriously, this drying towel here is the best drying towel I've ever used. It is a 700 GSM double twist loop microfiber towel. It is made up of a blend of 70% polyester, which is the cheaper material, and 30% polyamide, which is the expensive absorbent material. Most drying towels out there are a 80%, 20% blend, hence why this towel is so good. With that extra 10% of the polyamide, it just sucks the water off the car. Again, when drying, we don't want to put too much pressure on the car, especially on the horizontal surfaces. Dragging the towel across will do the job. Especially on a towel this good, it's going to pull the water off and you don't need to put much effort in. You'll see now that on the bonnet, even though this car hasn't been coated and the water is sticking to the paint, one swipe with the towel and all that water's gone. Once we've done those horizontal surfaces, time to work our way around the rest of the car. Again, not needing to put too much pressure on, just running the towel across the surface. You can take as long as you want on this surface, removing as much water as you can from the mirrors, from the door jambs, getting rid of as much water as possible to give your car the best finish. Another reason why Beadmaker has become my go-to is just the finish it leaves on the car. You can see as this car is being dried off, it just looks $1 million. Okay, that's the end of our washing process. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you took away some tips, tricks, and the products that we used to keep our cars looking their best. If you're interested in checking out more video tutorials on how to look after your car, take a look at the rest of our videos on the YouTube channel, and make sure to check out our website at thedetailformula.com. To see some of the cars we've been working on lately, you can also check us out at our Instagram page at thedetailformula on Instagram. Again, thank you for watching the video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you then.